Welcome to the video where we share some interesting Reddit stories. My grandfather started dating a woman about 2 years ago, shortly after my grandmother passed away. Although I have mixed feelings about this, I try not to express them. A few months ago, he decided to move in with her and sell his house. He told me that they made a vow to never do anything without each other. I have become accustomed to her presence and am generally okay with it. Even when she makes rude comments, I show her respect because I do not want to hurt my grandfather's feelings. He's very sensitive and has a kind heart. There are some positive aspects to her presence. She keeps my grandfather busy and engaged in activities outside the house. Additionally, she does not financially exploit him. However, I have noticed certain behaviors and remarks from her that I find rude. I am beginning to understand that this may simply be her personality. It is worth noting that most of my family shares this sentiment. My best friend from childhood is getting married this fall. Although we have grown apart due to distance, she asked me to be part of her wedding. She also requested that I invite my 2 sisters and my grandfather, as they were like family to her while growing up. Today, I called my grandfather to see if he would like to attend the wedding. He expressed how honored he felt and was nearly in tears on the phone. He asked if his girlfriend could accompany him, but I explained that my friend only invited my sisters and him. He said he understood and we ended the call. I then informed my friend that he would love to go, and she was very excited. About an hour later, my grandfather called back and mentioned that he should not have asked for permission regarding his girlfriend's attendance. He stated that they are basically married in his eyes and that it was rude for her not to be invited. He expressed feeling like he walks on eggshells around everyone and is trying not to hurt anyone's feelings. I attempted to explain that it is not my place to invite an additional guest to a wedding, especially someone my friend does not know. He insisted that in the future he would not ask for permission and that everyone should accept that she will always be with him. At this point, I questioned whether I might be in the wrong. I told him it was unreasonable for him to expect me to ask my friend to add another guest to her already expensive and crowded wedding. It is also unreasonable to assume that our family would be comfortable with her being present all the time. While I am generally okay with her attending, there may be occasions when we would prefer just to have him without her, and we should not feel guilty about that. He expressed a desire for everyone to be more accepting of her and to be happier about the situation. I explained that I feel neutral. I am neither angry nor particularly happy about it. I also pointed out that they cannot expect everyone to share their feelings. He reiterated that if she is not invited, he feels uncomfortable attending the wedding with my sisters and me. He also stated that he would not participate in future events if she is not welcome. I recognize that my feelings about their relationship, the house move, and my personal feelings toward her may be influencing my response, but I genuinely do not believe I am in the wrong. So am I the antagonist in this situation? Loki, hey, just a heads up that your post was removed because it exceeds the 3,000 character limit. You can check the limit here. Make sure to keep it shorter if you want to resubmit. Also, don't try to continue your story in the comments or through another thread. It won't be allowed. If you edit the post, it still won't get approved. Just a reminder to read the rules carefully before you post again. If you have questions, reach out to the moderators. Good luck. Aita for wanting a day for myself. Hello everyone, this is my first post here. I want to share my situation and would appreciate your opinions because I feel like I have no one to talk to. I am a 19-year-old female with 3 brothers, and I currently live with my single mother. My family has been struggling for years since my father went to prison. My mother encouraged all of us except for my youngest brother to get jobs to help support the family, which I understand. 2 of my brothers joined the military and went to basic training. Meanwhile, I found a job in a factory. A few months later, both of my brothers graduated. My mother and I saved money to attend their graduations from basic training and advanced individual training. We expected them to find jobs or go to college after returning home. Instead, they bought individual personal computers and monitors and spent all day gaming. Now, it has been a few months since they returned. My mother works 2 jobs and often complains about her situation. My brothers do the bare minimum around the house and do not listen to her. Despite working hard, I try to help by cooking, cleaning, taking out the trash, and buying groceries when I can. I also make sure my mother has lunch to take to work. However, since I am the only one who listens to her complaints, she has started to rant to me about chores. Even when I come home from work exhausted, she demands that I prepare her lunch for the next day, which puts me in a grouchy mood. I often find myself staying up until midnight to finish cooking, which only adds to my frustration. On my days off, my mother complains that I stay home all day and should clean or make dinner. I never get a proper day of rest because she constantly nags me. I have become so stressed that I have started stress eating, spending money on unnecessary items to feel better, and sometimes staying up until morning. What really broke me today was when I returned home from work, intending to unwind, and my mother snapped at me to wash the dishes and make her lunch for the next day. The sink was completely full, stacked with plates and large bowls. I spent 2 hours scrubbing off bits of rice, crumbs, and clumps of grease from those dishes. After that, I prepared the ingredients and spent another 30 minutes cooking. When I checked the rice cooker, I realized there was no rice at all. I had to make rice before I could clean up my utensils. I feel so exhausted, tired, and alone. It seems like when I ask for help, it goes unanswered. I am just 19 years old, and I feel much older than my age. Why can't I have a day to relax? So am I the antagonist for wanting a day to myself? You did nothing to be ashamed of. It sounds like your mom is taking her frustrations out on you instead of dealing with your brothers. Setting boundaries is key here. Don't do more than you did before they came back. If she doesn't like that, maybe it's time for her to rethink things. Honestly, if you can afford it, moving out could be a solid option. A day to yourself won't fix the bigger issues in your family. You need a long-term solution. Consider a family meeting to set clear boundaries so all the people pitch in. If that doesn't work, look into renting a room or finding a housemate. Remember, your health matters, especially at your age. Aita for wanting an apology from my sibling. My sister, who is 24 years old, became upset with me, a 25-year-old woman, because I did not understand what she meant when she texted about an argument she had with her friend. She was planning a trip to Disney Shanghai with a friend who lives in China, has a husband, and has a child. I offered to pay for everything as a graduation gift. She chose the Disney hotel and selected additional tickets such as lightning passes and other special events, which made the total cost quite high. Her friend expressed that she could not afford it, which I understood. However, the friend then said to my sister, "What is the point of planning if it won't happen?" My sister became upset because this was not the first time that this friend or other friends made similar comments toward her. Our parents passed away when we were 5 years old. As Asians, we have often felt judged by others for not having parents. When I did not fully understand the situation, I called her to ask for clarification, but she brushed me off and told me to go away. I felt hurt and asked her why she was being rude to me. She ignored me for 2 days and then texted, "Sorry, I was mad at you." I found the apology insincere, especially after being ignored for 2 days. The following day, she was supposed to join an online tutorial with my husband, but did not show up. I called her, but there was no response. 3 hours later, she texted my husband saying, "I woke up late. I did not think we would have class since V is mad at me. Let's cancel all the future sessions." I reached my breaking point. She had asked us for help with her classes, and I had gone out of my way to prepare materials for her. We set aside 2 hours each day to accommodate her needs, and it felt like she was being ungrateful and disrespectful of our time. When I expressed my feelings, she told me it was my fault. She claimed that she only treats me the way I treat her and that I deserved her attitude. She also expressed sympathy for my husband, saying he has to live with someone as disrespectful as me. This is not the first time she has said hurtful things. Whenever I faced difficulties such as health or immigration issues, she would tell me that I deserved those challenges. I believe I deserve to be treated better, especially by my sister. I have worked multiple jobs simultaneously to financially support both her education and my own. Aware of how people might judge her for not having parents, I gave her everything she ever wanted to help her feel equal to her friends. She has taken more vacations than I have, often criticizing me for what she perceives as wasting my life away in my 20s through studying and working. When I got married, I ensured that my husband would also support her. At the end of our argument, she texted me, "I will live a better life without you in it." Am I the antagonist? Let me tell you, you did nothing to be ashamed of, seriously. It's time to stop funding a person who treats you poorly. She might just be trying to guilt you into paying for her friend, and it's super shady. If she thinks her life will be better without you, let her find out. You deserve way more respect than she's shown. Go low contact for a bit. When she reaches out again, it'll probably be because she wants something. You don't need people in your life who don't value you. It's tough, but letting go can bring you peace. Just focus on what's best for you. Aita for siding with my parent in the divorce even though they cheated. My father, who is 52 years old, and my mother, who is 49 years old, separated nearly 8 months ago due to my father's affair. I am 17 years old and understand that my father is in the wrong and that cheating is never acceptable. However, I have recently found myself resenting my mother because of her reaction to the divorce. She has been placing voice recorders in all of our vehicles, including mine. This makes me uncomfortable as I feel unable to speak freely even in my own home. Additionally, she has installed cameras throughout our house in an attempt to catch my father, who is no longer allowed in our home. One of the cameras is positioned directly in front of my bedroom. I have expressed to her that it seems inappropriate, especially since I have given her no reason not to trust me. I do not see the purpose behind placing a camera there. My father had to purchase a new phone because my mother could still log into his Apple ID and access his accounts, including Facebook and other social media platforms. Her email was the recovery email for all of his passwords, as my father has never been particularly skilled with technology. Even after buying a new phone, she somehow still has access to his location. I am unsure how she manages this, but I would not be surprised if she has an AirTag or some other type of tracker hidden somewhere. She checks his location frequently and will leave at all hours of the day to follow him if she suspects he is going to meet another woman. I am questioning whether I am in the wrong because my mother and I recently had an argument. Our relationship has been strained since she found out I am gay about a year ago, but we have maintained a civil relationship by avoiding the topic. This argument began when she questioned me about my relationship with my girlfriend, who is 18 years old, and attempted to tell me that she was not good for me. I felt annoyed because I try not to discuss my girlfriend around her to avoid conflict. When she brought it up, I responded without thinking and said, "I do not think you should be giving out relationship advice." She immediately began crying and claimed it was not her fault, insisting that I should not hold that against her. I left the room, but later, while we were watching television, she reignited the issue by venting to me about my father. She repeatedly referred to him in derogatory terms and expressed her feelings about how he would likely marry someone unworthy. I know she is upset, but I wish she would not vent to me about this situation because I still love my father and prefer not to be involved. I attempted to change the subject, but she persisted. In response, I stated it does not really matter who he marries. This upset her, and she accused me of not caring about their separation. She then told me that I was just like my father and lacked emotions. At that point, I was angry with her and said I would rather be like my father than like her. I expressed that I could understand why my father would want to be with someone else. Now she is accusing me of siding with my father and excusing his actions. Straight up though, it seems like you're leaning more towards your dad, but it might be because of the rocky relationship with your mom rather than just his cheating. Was he more supportive when you came out? It's tough that your mom thinks your girlfriend isn't good enough. Still, you kind of put some blame on her for his infidelity, which isn't fair. She shouldn't be venting to you or using recording devices in low-key sus places, so all the people have some blame here. Your dad cheated, and that's a big deal. Your mom's actions are pretty toxic too, especially involving you in this mess. You're old enough to know your comments can feel a certain type of way. This whole mess is a cycle of toxic vibes you'll need to talk about. Your mom deserves better, and it's not right to take jabs at her like that. Aita for telling my parent that I don't trust them. My mother, who is 46 years old, and I, who am 21 years old, have never had a good relationship. We have never even had a decent one. She has always been the type to judge harshly, overshare my personal business with others, and completely dismiss my feelings if they do not align with what she wants to hear. It feels like nothing I say ever matters unless it benefits her narrative. Yesterday, she was on the phone with her friend and read a post that one of our family members shared. The post said, "I gave love to people that I should have given drugs to." I laughed and said, "Same, because I too have given love to people who never deserved it." That comment resonated with me. Immediately, she and her friends started pressing me, asking who I was talking about. I did not tell them, why would I? My mother does not know anything about my personal life anymore, and that is for a reason. She has betrayed my trust too many times to count. Then she asked, how could your life be so bad that you would want to give drugs to people? That hurt. So I responded, you do not know what I have been through. She snapped back, you have not been through anything. That was the breaking point for me. I told her calmly but truthfully, you do not know anything I have been through because I do not trust you, and that is the truth. How could I trust someone who never listens, who invalidates my pain, and who turns around and tells my personal business to others as if it is gossip? While this was happening, she was still on the phone with her friend and said, "I am so happy you were on the phone to hear how disrespectful my daughter just was to me." I sat there thinking, how is it disrespectful to say I do not trust you? How is it disrespectful to set a boundary after years of feeling unheard, unsupported, and exposed? I do not trust her, how could I? We have never had the kind of bond where trust could grow. More than that, she talks about my private life as if it is entertainment for her and her friend. Why does her friend even know anything about me and my ex? That was something I shared with my mother in confidence, something personal and painful, and yet somehow it became a topic of conversation between the two of them. It is not just disappointing. It is exhausting. And it is lonely. For real though, you did nothing to be ashamed of, and honestly, it sounds like you're just setting necessary boundaries. It's tough when family doesn't respect your feelings or privacy. Your mom seems to treat your life like gossip, which isn't cool at all. It makes sense that you don't trust her with your personal stuff anymore. Sharing something personal only for it to get broadcasted is exhausting and annoying. It's totally valid to feel some type of way when a person dismisses your experiences like that. You deserve to have your feelings acknowledged, not invalidated. It's okay to keep things to yourself when sharing just leads to more pain. At the end of the day, protecting your peace is what matters most. Just keep taking care of yourself. Aita for being sensitive and leaving my partner's birthday. I am a 30-year-old female and currently pregnant. I have been in a relationship for several years and we are expecting our first child together, which has made us very happy and excited. However, today I am feeling quite the opposite. We recently celebrated my boyfriend's birthday and had friends over. I helped organize the party by cooking, grocery shopping, advising him, and caring for the guests for most of the evening. We had agreed on certain rules. Guests were only allowed to smoke on the balcony with the door closed, and we had a table booked at a bar later in the evening to avoid an all-night party. As soon as the guests arrived, they began smoking on the balcony with the door open, including my boyfriend, who only smokes at social events. At one point, one of the guests stood halfway inside while smoking. Additionally, the plans for leaving for the bar changed without my knowledge. My boyfriend and his guests speak a different language than I do. While I understand a lot, I sometimes misunderstand things. I thought they had decided to leave later, but they actually decided not to go at all. I started to feel unwell due to the passive smoking and pulled my boyfriend aside to ask him to stop. I then went to the bedroom to lie down because I was feeling sick, tired, and really emotional. I stayed there for the rest of the evening. Near midnight, I asked my boyfriend if they were leaving soon and he seemed confused, saying they were not leaving at all. I calmly asked him if they could leave anyway because I could not fall asleep and our walls are very thin. He became annoyed with me and said I could not ask this of him when we rarely have guests and that he could not just kick them out. We had a bit of an argument and he suggested that I go sleep at a friend's house. While waiting for my friend to respond, I packed some things and left in a taxi. He did not say a word when I left. I feel confused and betrayed as I thought he would be supportive and understanding. I recognize that I am extra emotional and sensitive during this time, and I am not in control of my body. He knows that I have been extremely tired during my pregnancy, and I can still feel the smoke in my lungs even 24 hours later. He has since texted me and tried calling, but I am not ready to speak with him. He feels that I was selfish and that I owe him an apology, but I feel the same way about him. For context, during the first years of our relationship, he struggled with substance abuse. He has been sober for several years now, and I am proud of him. I stood by him through everything, including when he was lying and hiding his problems from me, when he spent our last money on alcohol, and through all of his sober weeks and relapses until he finally stayed sober. I supported him in changing his life completely, respected his need for sobriety, and stopped inviting friends over for celebrations. I even had an abortion because he was afraid of relapsing. At this moment, I do not feel supported during my pregnancy, and I am unsure if I want to stay in the relationship. I feel devastated and lost. Am I being selfish? I cannot figure it out. It's wild how you did nothing to be ashamed of. It's clear he didn't support you when you needed it most. Sending a pregnant girlfriend who isn't feeling well away instead of wrapping up the night is super shady. You set boundaries for the celebration, and he totally ignored them. Asking guests to leave at midnight was a fair request. You need rest right now, and if he can't realize that, it's a red flag for your future together. His demand for an apology feels manipulative, almost like gaslighting. You deserve emotional support, especially with a baby on the way. Pump the brakes and think about how he handles responsibility and care. This mess could get tougher once the baby arrives if he continues to let you down. Stay strong up. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.